God of friendship, I come to know your love and care through the embodied presence of others. Weave me together with kindred spirits. Knit me more closely with friends of the soul. Cultivate in me a kinship with humanity, so that I recognize my struggles and joys in others. In my loneliness, reveal to me this communion, and may I be a solace to others who ache for connection. Transform me through conversation and loving presence. Help me to see how I am part of a great circle of pilgrims, witnesses, ancestors, and mystics who guide me to true connection with you. Gather me into your great wide heart so I might discover I am never separate, but always held in love.
And so, friends, thank you for being here this morning and for coming together in community and for forming this community of faith this morning. And so we hope that this is a time of spiritual nurture for you, a time of comfort, a time of challenge perhaps, whatever it is your soul might need this morning. Just want to thank the Conlons for providing pre-service coffee this morning, so that we're at our best as a community this morning. Also, this morning our Faith Stories series continues, and we thank Joan Googler for sharing her story with us later on this morning. And so just that Neil and I did not talk about how we would dress this morning. It's just the dad uniform for summer. So. And so, friends, as we begin this time set aside for worship, would you join with me in the welcome that is extended to all people? Seeking true community, we welcome all who have no church home, need strength, and are seeking deep meaning. Some of us come to this service with joy, while some of us bring feelings of sorrow, inadequacy, anger, or uncertainty. May we find comfort and offer comfort. Hear the words meant for you and for all of us. You are my child, the beloved, in whom I am well pleased. And so we continue our service with gratitude and respect as we remember together that this land, this planet is sacred. We are on holy ground. In this summer season of green and growth, we are grateful for the way the earth sustains all life. The Haudenosaunee, Chinatan, and Anishinaabe have cared for and shared this land for millennia. Generations ago, they welcomed newcomers who entered into treaties with them. We seek to live into right relationship with all Indigenous peoples on whose land we have settled. We commit to listening to and respecting their wisdom. And so as we ponder these questions, we light our Christ candles, symbolizing the coming of Jesus' presence in our worship, uniting us in the call to do as Jesus did and allow love to take on our flesh. The candle in our sanctuary is wrapped symbolically from week to week in the diverse colors of human skin. The presence of the divine and human is true in Jesus the Christ and true in all peoples. Friends, our opening hymn this morning is Morning Has Broken. It's number 409 in your red, Voices United. Please rise as you are able. Please be seated. And so, friends, let's continue with the sharing of some community and news. If you have an announcement and you're here in the sanctuary, just come forward and you can come to the microphone. Or if you're on Zoom, just type it in the chat and I'll read it out. Mary Reynolds passed me a note this morning. Wednesday, July 17 at 1 p.m. is our Mix and Mingle get-together. These have been very successful in the past. We hope you can attend. Don't forget your lawn chair for sitting under the trees. And as well, Mary would like you to know, beverages will be served this morning outside. So I want to let you know that. And the Mix and Mingle, just an opportunity just to come out and just socialize with your fellow Parkminster members. Come on forward. Yeah, Leo.
Okay, I'm really not good with public speaking, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone here for how far you guys have brought me, because I was at a really low place when I came here for starters, and now I'm to the point where I'm actually confident with who I am, what I'm doing, and I am currently working on a musical that goes into the Odyssey and the Trojan War. And if anyone is interested in singing for that, I am looking for people. We are also working on lyrics still, stuff like that. But we do need singers, and on top of that, I also do have auditions for another musical that are going to be next weekend, so wish me luck.
Thanks, Leo. An announcement and a blessing. Thank you. Jaden, come on up. Shouldn't you be working?
This is my Sunday off, Joe. I'm allowed those still. Hello, everyone. As you know, I am leading a congregation of my own now, 20 hours a week in Guelph at Three Willows. And I get to do my first baptism next week, so I'm really excited about that, and I just wanted to share with you guys. It's been the first baptism that my congregation has had in a few years. They've gone through so much loss, and it's a precious little baby, and it's exactly what we need right now, so I'm excited.
Thanks, Jaden. Yeah, not seeing anyone else. I just want to remind you, as Adrienne Verrett-Hoffman announced last week, although back to school is probably the last thing you want to think about now. We are collecting school supplies for Healing of the Seven Generations to distribute, and there's a blue bin at the top of the stairs. So if you're out doing your shopping, just invite you to pick up a few extra supplies and bring them for the bin. Also, just a quick reminder, Parkminster now has an Instagram page, so please follow us. And next week, our Faith Stories series continues with Robin MacArthur sharing her faith story with us. So I'm not seeing any other announcements this morning. So yeah, Neil. Thank you. Yes, just a reminder as well that next Sunday, in addition to Robin's faith story, it's going to be a jazz service. All the music will be jazz, and who will be a part of it, Neil? Yeah, so part of that service will be Bob Hudgens, Lee McWebb, Jeff Stacy, and of course Neil. So friends, as we move from a time of gathering into a time of exploring our faith stories and hearing Joan's own faith story, let's just pause and ground ourselves in prayer. Would you join me? God, reveal to us in the generosity of stories shared, in our listening to Scripture, in the sharing of this morning's faith story, in the reflections of our minds, in the stirrings in our souls, may we trust what emerges and wait for a word of hope, a revelation of love, a gift of grace. Amen. So the scripture that Joan has chosen to go with her story this morning comes from the book of Hebrews. The book of Hebrews is a letter written to a mainly Jewish audience, focusing on the place of Jesus in the Jewish story as the Messiah that is prophesied in the Hebrew scriptures. It encourages Jewish followers of Jesus to endure in the face of persecution. Our reading this morning comes from chapter 11, verses 1 to 16, from the Message, with edits this morning for gendered language references to God. The fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. It's our handle on what we can't see, The act of faith is what distinguished our ancestors, set them above the crowd. By faith, we see the world called into existence by God's word, what we see created by what we don't see. By an act of faith, Abel brought a better sacrifice to God than Cain. It was what he believed, not what he brought, that made the difference. That's what God noticed and approved as righteous. After all these centuries, that belief continues to catch our notice. By an act of faith, Enoch skipped death completely. They looked all over and couldn't find him because God had taken him. We know on the basis of reliable testimony that before he was taken, he pleased God. It's impossible to please God apart from faith. And why? Because anyone who wants to approach God must believe both that God exists and that God cares enough to respond to those who seek God. By faith, Noah built a ship in the middle of dry land. He was warned about something he couldn't see and acted on what he was told. The result? His family was saved. His act of faith drew a sharp line between the evil of the unbelieving world and the rightness of the believing world. As a result, Noah became intimate with God. By an act of faith, Abraham said yes to God's call to travel to an unknown place that would become his home. When he left, he had no idea where he was going. By an act of faith, he lived in the country promised him, lived as a stranger camping in tents. Isaac and Jacob did the same, living under the same promise. Abraham did it by keeping his eye on an unseen city with real eternal foundations, the city designed and built by God. By faith, barren Sarah was able to become pregnant, old woman as she was at the time, because she believed the one who made a promise would do what was said. That's how it happened that from one man's dead and shriveled loins, there are now people numbering into the millions. Each one of these people of faith died, not yet having in hand what was promised, but still believing. How did they do it? They saw it way off in the distance, waved their greeting, and accepted the fact that they were transients in this world. People who live this way make it plain that they are looking for their true home. If they were homesick for the old country, they could have gone back any time they wanted. But they were after a far better country than that, heaven country. You can see why God is so proud of them and has a city waiting for them. Friends, hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
When it rains, it pours, but you didn't even notice. It ain't raining anymore. It's hard to breathe when all you know is the struggle of staying above the rising waterline. Well, the fire's finally opened. The rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck up in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella. Well, darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. If you could see what I see, you'd be blind. you're stuck out in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella, but darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. Oh, tie up the boat, take off your coat, and take a look around. Everything is all right now, 'cause the sky is finally opened, the rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. Let go of your umbrella, 'cause darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. Yeah, there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. It'll all be alright.
Thank you, Bethany. So it's my pleasure to formally introduce Joan to you. Joan is a returnee to Parkminster, having been a member along with her husband Ernst in the late 90s. She's been a teacher and a deaconess serving two churches in Cornwall and Ottawa before marriage. She and Ernst spent 4.5 years in Nepal as overseas workers with the United Church, after which Joan was a stay-at-home mom of 3 children, but remaining active in the church wherever they lived in Ontario. She is happy to be reacquainted with friends at Parkminster and hopes to get to know everyone at a deeper level. So Joan, come on up and share your faith story with us.
It's a warm day, isn't it? Nice to see all of you. In looking back over my life, in particularly faith journey, or what some people call a spiritual journey, my first memory of my parents, who were very loving and provided a very wonderful home for my brother and I. My mother was from Ireland and came with a large family in 1925 to Montreal. She had strong Methodist roots, and she and my father, who was from England originally, found a place at St. James United Church in Montreal, where there was a large Young People's Union, a YPU as I'm going to refer to it. And Reverend Lloyd C. Douglas, good thing I've written a few things down, was the minister at the time. And as you probably remember, he wrote many books like The Robe and The Big Fisherman. At least those of you who are from my generation may know those books. My parents sent us to Sunday school, and I have fond memories of a woman who told wonderful Bible stories using flannel graph. And and also of the way we used to belt out onward Christian soldiers. And of course, that's not even in the Red Book anymore. But it was a good beginning in the Sunday school, in a United Church, in Brownies, Guides, CGIT, and then YPU. And one of my fondest memories is of having a part in planning an Easter sunrise service on top of Mount Royal. And it was always touch and go as to whether we would have to have it inside the chalet or outside. And we were able to get sometimes a professor from McGill University, the theological college there, or just someone whom we had known and liked and had a message for young people. I went to Teachers College and then spent 3 years of teaching in a church in Lachine, where my parents lived. And so I was living with them, which I'm sure had certain constraints, because when I was at Teachers College, I had a good friend who was Baptist, and of course I spent a little time with her at a camp, and my perspectives on Christianity changed quite a bit, and I didn't even know if my parents were Christian, and that was terrible. They must have really had problems with me during those 3 years. But I got more and more involved in our own United Church, and that led to going to the United Church Training School, which is now called the Center for Christian Studies. And the influence of the Synoptic Gospels, lectures at Emmanuel, Reverend Harriet Christie, the principal, and Dr. Catherine Hawken, who had been a missionary in China, were staff members, and they were all wonderful role models, mentors. Then my 2 years of being a deaconess at St. Paul's in Cornwall and Southminster, Ottawa, Reverend Harold Burgess told me when he interviewed me that I would be doing everything he did except marrying, bearing, and baptizing. But it wasn't quite like that. I didn't take the service very often. We had evening services in those days, and sometimes I did take an evening service or lead. But my main work was visiting and Christian education. But after 2 years, I felt called to Southminster, where they were looking for a director of Christian education. And having been a teacher, I felt this was my niche. I met my husband, Ernst, while I was there, and after 4.5 years, I decided, because he hadn't popped the question, I was going to go to Montreal and go back to teaching at a French Protestant school that was under the Home Mission Board at the time. Well, absence did make the heart grow fonder, and he did propose to me, but it was kind of like a two-edged proposal. How would you like to marry me and go to Nepal, he says. So if I wanted to do one, I had to do the other. But after a year of preparing and getting our courses that were in language study, first of all, with other denominations and people going to other countries, and then specific preparation for Asia, we went to Nepal. And it was because his twin brother was there already from Germany and had worked at a hospital, first of all, and then learned of a technical institute that was going to be built in the Terai, close to the Indian border. And they needed an engineer and had been looking for somebody for 2 years. So Ernst felt that he would like to do that and accept the challenge. They were difficult years. We were living on a mission compound where there were 8 families, and there was a guest house where there were some single people, Paxmen, or there was one Pax couple who were from the Mennonite Church. We were from many different mission boards or denominations, and while that can be great at times, it can also be very troublesome if there is misunderstanding. And I know one couple who were from Norway and from regions beyond Missionary Union didn't think that we were Christian because we had a Frigidaire sent out from Hong Kong. Anyway, we got along and we had special friends, two of whom I still keep in touch with. One a Mennonite woman in Philadelphia and another from the church in Germany. And we also gained a lot by being parents, I suppose, to a group of trainees who had a hostel. There was a hostel attached to each home, each family home, and the boys prepared their meals and looked after themselves, but we would have them in from time to time for games. And we were told we shouldn't discuss religion or politics, but if they asked us questions about our faith or why we were there, we were free to answer them. But as you may know, Nepal is predominantly a Hindu country, and although there are many Buddhists and Christians, but you're not allowed to proselytize. But we weren't there for that purpose anyway. Being an engineer, Ernst did his ministry through his hands and his brain, and one of the last things he had to supervise was the designing and manufacturing of 2 suspension bridges for the hills. And so it wasn't until after that work was finished that we were free to go home. And so it was 4.5 years instead of 4. And by then we had a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And wouldn't you know, we didn't take the easy way home. We came home by a Volkswagen camper. And my mother, I don't know whether it was faith or foolishness, but she was really thinking, my mother thought we had had a great trip because we didn't even have a flat tire, so there must have been a heavenly angel watching over us. Well, we had other problems, but I won't go into that. Ernst's plan was to ease out of engineering and into management, so he was accepted at Western for his MBA, and during the second year, Stephen was born, and is our only Canadian. Well, they're all Canadians now because you have to decide at age 21, if not before, whether or not you're going to maintain your Nepal citizenship. But not finding full-time work in the church because I was raising a family, but also because we moved a lot. I always said I married a gypsy because we seemed to move around. If he was dissatisfied with the job or if his boss was dissatisfied with him. As those of you who were here when Ernst was alive know, or perhaps you don't know, but he was very outspoken. But at any rate, I managed to get a job teaching English as a second language for 5 years under the Oxford Board. So I was also active in women's work, and 2 people whom I really learned a great deal from are Shirley Endicott, who was a missionary in China and was a speaker at our Westminster Weekend retreat one time in London, and Ruth Butt, who died, I was just at her memorial service along with Isabel Field a few weeks ago, and she had come to our church in Tilsonburg with a VIM grant, Ventures in Mission, and to do a seniors ministry, but she also conducted, we had study groups, mostly on Scott Peck's books. So I just want to say that in 2003, Ernst died very suddenly, and some of you came to the celebration of his life that we had a month later. And as we were preparing the grounds and putting out some of the picnic tables that he had made, some hawks flew down in amongst the trees, and it just made a whooshing sound. And I really thought it was like another Pentecost. And it was just a real sign that God was with us. And that's what I have felt over all my years. And when I came back to Kitchener, I joined Trinity because I was in a different space after Ernst's death and just wanting to be at peace. And I knew there was a large Sunday school here when we left anyway, and I just thought it would be a little bit noisy, maybe, for my mood. But Desmond Parsons was one of our ministers at Trinity, and he got to know my background. And so he led me to be reinstated as a deaconess, or a diaconal minister, as they're called now. And so for 5 years, I was a voluntary associate minister, which just meant I was doing what I had always liked to do, which was to visit people. Only this with some recognition, which was very nice. So I have been so happy to return here and meet so many new people, but also see so many whom I knew from long ago. And I'm happy to have shared my story, but I would love to hear yours. And I hope that in the coming fall and winter, we can have some groups where we get to know one another at a deeper level and have this faith community where we not only listen to one another, but we have a chance to tell your story. So let's talk.
Thank you so much, Joan. And the hymn that Joan has chosen to go with her faith story is Bless Now, O God, the Journey. It's number 633 in your red Voices United. Please rise as you write. Please be seated. So friends, the journey of faith often takes us to a place of gratitude, and gratitude often takes us to a place of wanting to give of time, of talent, and treasure. So friends, this is our opportunity. So in that spirit, let us bring our gifts before God.
What can I do? What can I bring? What can I say? What can I sing? I'll sing with joy. I'll say a prayer. I'll bring my love. I'll do my share.
Holy One, your love is woven throughout the lives of the faithful. So we ask that you bless these gifts, that your love might be woven into the lives of those who are seeking shelter, who are anxious about finding food, who live in oppressive conditions, who struggle to simply be who they are, who they were born to be. Bless these gifts and bless our discernment that your love might be woven into the world. Amen. Please be seated. So friends, let's come together in prayer to share, and we begin by sharing the blessings and the concerns that sit on our hearts this day in our own lives and in the world around us. So just I'll raise your hand if you have a blessing or concern you'd like to share, and I'll come to you with the microphone. And if you're on Zoom, just type it into the chat, and I'll make sure to read it out. I have some that have been blessings that have been made known to me. I guess first of all, I just want to start by just bringing forward the blessings that were shared during the announcement time of Jaden beginning their ordered ministry journey and their first baptism, and the support that this congregation has given and continues to give Jaden along the way, and also Leo sharing the blessing of finding a home of acceptance here at Parkminster, and also the Arya Rotnams, Ari and Ariam, wanted to share that they're celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary today, and so they share that as a blessing. And they also wanted to make sure that I thanked Jenny McQuay for her card ministry and remembering to send them a card on their anniversary. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm wondering if you have any blessings or concerns that you would like to share this day.
Just wanted to ask for prayers for our friends in the U.S. They're going through a lot of upheaval these days, and it's a crazy time. So anyway, just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Kevin. That's something that's on a lot of people's minds this morning. Anyone else, a blessing or concern that you'd like to share with one another? I'm just going to check on Zoom here to see if there's any further. So friends, not seeing any others at this time, let's sing our intention as we come before God. Our intention to be open, to open our lives to God as we come together in prayer. surface of things, it can be hard to be thankful. Living with uncertainty in the news, tossed about by forces beyond our control. On the surface, it can be hard to be thankful. When we are yearning for ever more success, more happiness, more health, more wealth, better politicians, healthier relationships. When we are yearning for ever more, it can be hard to be thankful. So let's go. Let yourself slip under the veneer of the news. The veneer of imposed definitions of reality. Let yourself fall beneath the power of yearning. Sink into, relax into the bottomless depths of abundance we call grace. And in this place, notice, it is place beyond room. What is it that is pure grace in our life, in your life? What sustains you that you did not work for or earn in some way? What is it that you have now that if you were to lose tomorrow, would fill you with a deep yearning for its return? Look around, notice, sink into that your grace. Know that you are not alone. This is the invitation to the Holy One, to in the world, not out there. Today as well, we give thanks for Joan's generosity in sharing her faith stories, pointing to the ways in which you work in our ordinary lives. And as we lift our hearts in gratitude for the many blessings we have received, we also turn our thoughts and prayers to the needs of society, our lives, our community, and the world around. We hold in the light of God's love the people of the United States this morning in the midst of political instability. Father and Mother of us all, loving God in whom is heaven. The way of your justice be followed by people. Your heavenly will be done by all created things. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In the times of temptation and test, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. And so, friends, our closing hymn this morning is May the God of Hope Go With Us. It's number 424 in your Red Voices United. Please rise as you are able.
May the God of hope go with us every day, filling our lives with love and joy and peace.
May the God of justice lead us on our way, bringing light and hope to every land and race. Praying, let us work for peace, singing, share our joy with all, working for a world that's new, faithful when we hear Christ's call.
May the God of healing free the earth from fear,
Freeing us from each
wretched and pursued. May the God of love give our commitment near,
to a world restored to human life renewed. Praying, let us work for peace, singing, share our joy with all, working for a world that's new, faithful when we hear Christ's call.
And so, friends, our service is coming to an end. The smoke that rises from the candle reminds us that the Holy Spirit goes with us into the week. The God that we worship is never confined to this place. So go and travel with the God who is found in our ordinary stories. And as you go forth this day, may the God of peace and joy, who is continually making all things new, bless you and keep you this day and always. Amen.